You feel it, don't you? The pressure that won't lift, the warfare in your mind that won't quiet down, the relationships fracturing, the doors closing, the weight you're carrying that nobody around you seems to understand. And the enemy wants you to land on one conclusion, that you're losing. But I need you to hear this before anything else today. What you are feeling right now is not the sensation of someone God has abandoned. It is the sensation of someone being pulled upward into something they haven't fully stepped into yet. Stay with me, because this will reframe everything. Most people, when pressure hits, go immediately to one thought: something must be wrong with me. Or worse, maybe I misheard God. And that thought is one of the most dangerous places you can live, because it paralyzes you at the exact moment you need to be moving forward. Here's the truth that nobody talks about enough. The intensity of the resistance you face is directly tied to the significance of what you carry. When your life had no direction, when you were wandering, when you weren't pursuing anything that threatened darkness, things were quieter, weren't they? Maybe not better, but quieter. The moment you surrendered, the moment you said yes to your assignment, the moment something in you woke up and started moving toward purpose. The war started, and you looked around confused, wondering what you did wrong to deserve this. But you didn't do anything wrong. You did something right. And that is exactly what triggered the opposition. Warfare is not a punishment. It is not a sign of failure. Warfare is a response. Think about it from a purely strategic standpoint. You don't deploy heavy artillery against a target that poses no threat. You concentrate your force, your resources, your most sophisticated weapons against what matters, against what can actually do damage. When the enemy mobilizes heavily against your peace, your mind, your relationships, your identity, that is not random. That is targeted. And targeted opposition means a targeted life. It means something in you, something God placed in you, is recognized by darkness as dangerous. The roar is designed to make you freeze before the fight even begins. Most people are not defeated by an actual assault. They are defeated by the sound, the intimidation, the "what if I can't make it through this" that keeps playing on a loop. But a roar is just sound. It is pressure designed to trigger retreat. And the moment you understand that, you stop reacting out of fear and start responding from your foundation. You are not a grasshopper. You have never been a grasshopper. The giants in front of you are not a sign you went the wrong way. They are a sign you are standing exactly where you are supposed to be, at the threshold of what God promised you. Here is where a lot of people get confused, and it costs them dearly. Not everything hard is an attack from the outside. Some of the discomfort you are in right now is God's hand working on the inside, stripping what cannot survive in the next season, pulling up roots that were quietly choking your potential, removing structures that felt safe but were keeping you small. That kind of pain does not feel like attack. It feels like loss. It feels like things falling apart without clear reason. It feels like the ground is shifting under your feet. And both can be happening simultaneously. External resistance from the enemy and internal refining from God. At the same time, in the same season. The question you need to ask in those moments is not, why is this happening? The question is, what is being formed in me through this? Because God does not waste a single hard season, not one. Every furnace He allows in your life is producing something. Patience you couldn't manufacture in calm seasons, depth that comfort never builds, character that only pressure can shape. The problem is that most people exit the fire too early. They pray the pressure off instead of asking what the pressure is producing, and they come out half-formed, then wonder why the next season feels the same. Let the work finish. Not passively, not sitting down and doing nothing, but with a willingness to be changed by what you're walking through instead of just surviving it. And here is what makes this hard. The people around you cannot always see what God is doing inside the furnace. From the outside, it looks like collapse. It looks like confusion. It looks like someone who used to have it together slowly falling apart. But God is not confused by your process. He is the one initiating it. Gold does not become gold in comfortable conditions. It becomes gold because extreme heat drives out every impurity, everything that was mixed in, diluted in, quietly weakening it from the inside. The fire does not destroy the gold. It reveals it. So stop apologizing for being in the fire. Stop shrinking around people who can't understand your season. Stop trying to make your process look put together for an audience that isn't walking the same road you are. This season is not your testimony of defeat. It is the backstory of your breakthrough. And it is being written with precision by a God who wastes nothing. This is the part I want you to really sit with. The opposition does not stay consistent throughout your journey. It escalates. And it escalates specifically at thresholds, at the edge of a new level, a new dimension, a new chapter that God is opening up. When the breakthrough is far off, the enemy is patient. But when you start building, when things start taking shape, when momentum begins, when what God put in you starts becoming visible in the natural, that's when the opposition gets organized. It gets louder, more coordinated, more personal. It starts coming from angles you didn't expect, from people you trusted, from circumstances that seem impossibly timed, from internal battles that feel like they're aimed directly at the specific thing God called you to walk in. And the mistake people make right here, right at the threshold, is interpreting the escalation as a sign to stop. But escalating opposition is never a sign to stop. It is a sign that what you are building matters. It is a sign that you are close. It is a sign that the enemy can see what you haven't fully seen yet, the scale of what's on the other side of this moment. The builders who changed things did not stop when the resistance came. They kept one hand on the work and one hand prepared for battle. They didn't let the noise of opposition become louder than the clarity of assignment. What are you building right now that the enemy is trying to shut down? Because whatever it is, if hell has mobilized against it, it is more significant than you are currently giving it credit for. So practically, in the middle of this, how do you hold your ground when you can barely see 2 feet in front of you? First, reframe what's happening. Stop calling this failure. Stop calling this punishment. Stop letting the narrative be written by what the pressure feels like. You are in a formation season. Everything that God allows in the life of someone surrendered to His purpose is being worked into something good. Not because the hard thing is good in itself, but because God is sovereign over it. He is not behind this scrambling to fix it. He already knew. He already accounted for it. He is already building it into the architecture of what He's writing in your life. Second, resist from identity, not from anxiety. The enemy's primary strategy is identity erosion. He knows if he can make you forget who you are, you will fight from a place of fear instead of authority. You will shrink. You will negotiate with the warfare instead of commanding it. You are not a victim of this season. You are a son or daughter of the living God, anointed for an assignment that was settled before you drew your first breath. That is not a nice sentiment. That is a weapon. Stand in it. Third, worship when it makes no sense to worship. This is the move the enemy cannot counter. When Paul and Silas were in that prison, beaten, chained, locked in at midnight, they sang. Not because things were fine. Things were not fine. They sang because they understood something that looked irrational, that praise shifts the atmosphere in ways that logic and strategy never can. The chains fell. The doors opened. Not because they figured out an escape plan, because they chose to worship in the worst moment of their current chapter. If you are in the midnight hour right now, that is when you sing. Not when the breakthrough comes. Now. Before it makes sense. Before you can see the exit. That act of surrender in the middle of warfare is one of the most violent spiritual weapons you carry. Let me be direct with you before I close this out. You are not losing. You're not sliding backward. You are not being punished. You are being called higher. And the path upward always runs through resistance, through the fire, through the wilderness season, through the moments where you feel least certain. Because that is where the character is built that the calling requires. The fire you are in right now is not God's rejection. It is preparation. The giants in front of you are not a stop sign. They are proof you are standing at the edge of your inheritance. The warfare in your life is not evidence that you are losing. It is evidence that you are a threat to what darkness is trying to hold on to. Do not quit before the breakthrough. Do not retreat from the threshold. You were not made for survival. You were made for purpose. And the one who called you into this is not finished. He who began a good work in you, he will complete it. Stand, build, worship, and trust the process, even when it is brutal, because what is being formed in you right now is exactly what the next chapter demands.